Hello again, hope everyone is doing well. Today is episode 9 of the top 10 highest selling AFL rookie cards on eBay series. This week is ending the 13th of November 2022. So first of all, let's look at the eBay sales data for the week. The dollar amount of sales was $95,920. This is the first week since starting the series where this number has actually gone up. It's up about 3k from last week. So the sales are really starting to smooth out from Optimum 2022. And we'll see if last week was a bit of a bottom at $93,000. Moving on to the top 10 and starting with the top 5 non-Optimum 2022 cards. In 5th spot, we've got Errol Golden and his rookie from 2021 Supremacy. This card is numbered 62 out of 85 and sold for $100. You guys know I love the look of this card, and Errol Golden has been one of the more promising rookies over the last couple of years, performance-wise at least. So yeah, $100 seems like a fair price. Moving into 4th spot, and we've got Ollie Wines and his DPS from 2013 Prime. This one is numbered 147 out of 280 and sold for $124. Seems like this card has sold a lot recently. I think someone maybe collected a bulk amount of these cards and is slowly siphoning them off. $124. I wonder if the person made a profit or not. They probably did, judging by how the hobby was in the 2010s, especially the early 2010s. But Ollie Wines, he's a Brownlow medalist. 124 seems cheap for a Brownlow medalist, but still he is seen as a more lower tier Brownlow medalist at the moment, I think. And we can see from previous people in this boat, such as Adam Cooney, like his rookie card DPS only sells for about $40 or so, although it is numbered a lot higher. So with this Ollie Wines, I'm kind of on the fence. I think $124 is a pretty safe price. Like, this card is definitely not going under $50 in my eyes. It's numbered out of 280, so it is pretty rare. And yeah, I think the buyer did pretty well at $124. But it's not like you have to rush out and buy it at this price. There's probably going to be more in the future cropping up, if there isn't already on eBay at the moment. Moving on to number 3, and it is Dustin Martin's rookie card from 2010 Champions. We've seen this card on the list quite a bit recently, and it sold for $150 in raw, non-graded condition. I have to say on this one, I've been getting the pop wrong for a long time. I just recalculated it last week just because I was interested, and the numbers didn't really add up in my head. And after doing the maths, it actually has more of a population of 750 rather than 1,000 I usually say. So I don't know how I got that wrong before. I think I just made a few wrong calculations. But seeing as it's out of 750, it isn't a huge change, but it does make me a bit more confident that this has more growth potential in the future because there's just less around. At $150, this is at the higher end of what we've seen recently. There's been a few selling for $100 around that mark. So 150 is quite high for a raw copy, but maybe they saw what the graded cards were getting last week and have decided to go down a similar route. Now, I also have to say that I did see the 9.5 that sold for $550 or something last week got relisted. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but it did seem like a really high sale at the time, so it must have not gone through. In number 2 spot, we've got Nick Riewoldt and his DPS from 2001 Authentic. This one is out of 770 cards and sold for $276. This is a huge price for this card, and I'm very surprised. And it's one of those situations where you really have to know the market, because you might be a big St Kilda fan just coming into the hobby and you see this sale in eBay and you go, oh, well, that's what the card is worth. Now, if you have been in the hobby for a while and you've kept on track with sales data, you know that this is wildly high. My last video, I said I picked one up for $125 recently. That's pretty much market, like maybe $150 at the moment, but $276 is way, way overs. And I think there's even other ones on eBay that are cheaper than this. So although I love this card and I think it has big growth potential in the future, buying in at $276 at the moment just seems a bit too high for me. And it's a perfect example of why you can't always trust eBay comps. Finally, in number 1, we've got a very similar situation with Nathan Wright and his gold signature from 2012 Future Force. This one is numbered out of 30, number 30 of 30, and sold for $299. So this is definitely not a trustworthy sale as well. it's probably someone who is trying to collect the whole set because it's extremely hard. There's only 30 cards of each player in this set, so it is very hard to make it. So it's either that or Nathan himself might have bought it, or one of his friends and family, because there's no way that this card is worth this amount. Although I love the Future Force releases, this is the original Future Force release, so it has even more collectability that way. But Nathan Wright played 35 games for St Kilda. I didn't even know of him at all in the AFL, and there's no way this card sells for the same price again in the future. Okay, now into the Optimum 2022 top 5. In 5th spot, we've got Josh Sin and his Platinum DPS. This one is numbered 31 out of 40 and sold for $208. Probably going to do a bit of a speed round on the Optimum 2022 this week, seeing as I usually don't have a huge amount to say about these younger players. So let's move on to number 4. In 4th spot, we've got Marcus Winhager, Platinum DPS, numbered 6 out of 40. This one sold for $238. In 3rd spot, we've got Jesse Motlop, Platinum DPS again, numbered 8 out of 40, sold for $250. In 2nd spot, Tom Brown, Copper DPS. This one is numbered 1 out of 170 and sold for $433. And finally, in the number 1 spot, we've got Tom Brown again, Gold DPS, numbered 1 out of 85. This one sold for $458. This is once again a great example of the premium that having number 1 gives you. And it's probably the same person that bought both these cards, let's be honest. And making that set makes both cards so much more valuable to a collector, I think. And that's probably the reason that there's only $20 difference between the two, because once you have one, it makes acquiring the second card of number 1 that much more valuable. So it seems like the gold should be worth a lot more, and it is really, but because if you want the set, you have to buy both, it puts an even bigger premium on the copper in this case. But that's all I've got for this week. Thanks for listening again, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.